I finally got my chance to platinum one of the Bioshock games. I've always wanted to platinum one of these games from the series, but ever since I was a kid, I was so scared of the first and second game just because of how dark and gloomy the environments were. Things changed a little bit though when Infinite came out 10 years ago. I played it for a little bit, but I never got a chance to finish it. I mean, God knows what I was doing. I probably had my hand on my pecker or something stupid like that. Anyway, since I had took my hand off my pecker now, I thought, you know what? I'm older now. Why not play it? What's the worst that can happen? Well... Yes! Son of a bitch, man! Why the hell is this bird? Oh, for flip's sake, I've dropped it. It actually wasn't that bad. There was only 1 to 2 jumps here and there. Overall, though, the game was amazing. I'm going to take you through the story, and by God, did it have the weirdest ending. It took me a while to understand it, but once I got it, it actually made a lot of sense, and it was really, really cool. But yeah, the game was amazing, and it still holds up well to this date. So I split the game up into 3 different sections. The first section is to play the game on normal difficulty, enjoy it, and just do all the collectibles. There are 142 of them, which absolutely sucks, but there you go. The second run is going to be just to do the cleanup for all the weapon-related trophies and the power-related trophies. And the third playthrough is to play the game on 99 mode and complete the game without using the $1 vending machine. So before I even start explaining the story, the antagonist, the bad guy in this game basically, I don't even know how to say his last name properly. Is it Cornstalk? Is it Comstock? I don't have a bananas. So I'm probably going to get it wrong this entire video. And I can't even ask you guys to explain to me how to pronounce it because I can read it. I just can't say it. Nah, well. So we'll see how this goes. So we begin our story in the middle of the ocean, getting taken to our lighthouse by these 2 random strangers who turn out to be the twins. And we'll find out a little bit more about them as we go throughout the story. The story focuses on a guy called Booker DeWitt, who we control. He's a former detective, and we've been hired to rescue this woman called Elizabeth. Again, as we go through the story, we'll find out a little bit more about her. When we arrive to the lighthouse, we get strapped into this little chair. I don't know who would sit in a chair in a lighthouse, but anyway, we get propelled up to the city of Columbia. And can we just take a minute just to marvel at how beautiful the city actually still looks till this day, 10 years after the game's actually come out.
Hallelujah.
So yeah, the game's absolutely beautiful. 10 years after its launch, it still is an unbelievably beautiful game. I'm going to show you a game a little bit more in a second. But yeah, as we land, we pop our first trophy written into the clouds.
Still got a girl to find.
So to go from Bioshock 1 and 2, where it's set in under the sea in Rapture City, to Bioshock Infinite, where it's set in Columbia above the clouds, and it's just unbelievable. The art directions, the game design here is beautiful. So we go exploring a little bit in Colombia, and the first thing we get told after we explore is to throw a ball at this mixed race couple. So you have to remember that this game is set in 1912, so a lot of the settings and emphasis is on racism. Back then, obviously, you know, colored people had their own bathrooms, white people had their own bathrooms, so Bioshock focuses a lot about racism and all this, and you'll see it in the scenery.
Show them what we got planned, boys!
But after a while, we get caught out as this, like, sort of false shepherd, and now the game basically starts. We are fighting for our lives here, and it's time to rescue Elizabeth. So this is not really an RPG sort of game, but we have some gear slots, and as we're going through the game, we pick up our first bit of gear, and we pop Dress for Success. So as we're going through the initial tutorial part of the game, we find out these little, how to get around the city, basically, and this is Skylines. And then we head to one of the islands, and we pop the trophy, Welcome to Momentum Island.
Hello.
So we eventually find Elizabeth in this mansion who's been held by Cornstarch and guarded by this big-ass eagle who scared me throughout the entire game. We find out she's got these powers called Ters, where she can open up sub-dimensional portals basically to other worlds, and you'll be able to use these throughout the games to pull out, you know, like different weapons and obstacles, etc. So we break her out of here, and we persuade her that we're going to go to Paris.
How about Paris?
Paris? I don't understand. How could we get there?
That's where that airship's going, but if you want to stay and dance, we
No,
can...
let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go right now.
So there's 141 collectibles to collect throughout the game. There's 80 voxophones, which are just basically audio logs. There are 30 of these like motion capture thingy-majibs that show you like the past of Columbia, and then 7 telescopes, and then 24 infusion upgrades, which is basically to upgrade your stats. Now, the only missable trophy, I believe, in this entire game is that if you collect all the infusion upgrades and you don't upgrade one of your stats to fully, you will miss this. So make sure when you collect them first, just upgrade, I don't know, your health, for example, to full, which is what I did. So the next stage was to fight Commander Slate, who used to serve with Booker. This wasn't too bad, it was just to fight different, some of his cronies, basically. And again, this game relies on different guns. All the trophies in this game, a lot of the miscellaneous trophies, will go hand in hand with different guns. So every gun in this game usually will have a trophy combined with it. And then we get a new Vigor power from Slate. I chose to spare him because I'm a nice, humble young man. He gave us a Shock Jockey, which gave us a trophy. So as we think we're about to escape Colombia in the ship, we pop first class ticket, but Elizabeth finds out we're not going to Paris, so she wasn't too happy.
What is that? 40 north by 74 west. That's not Paris, that's New York.
How'd you know that? Gonna be okay. Will you just turn around and talk to me and we can...
So after being knocked clean out by Elizabeth, we meet Daisy Fitzroy, who's the owner of the ship. She agrees to help us get off Colombia and give us a ship if we go and supply her with guns from the gunsmith. And then she knocks us off the ship as well. So fair play to her. All these women absolutely hate us.
Partners!
You're a liar, Mr. DeWitt. And a thug. But you're also my only means of reaching Paris.
We finally reunite with Elizabeth, and she agrees to help us because we are our only option to get off Colombia. So as we're going through Colombia to try and find the gunsmith, we pop another weapon trophy for the RPG. And also, here little piggy for using the body gun. So the next trophy I unlocked was David versus Goliath. This is to kill 20 enemies who are heavy hitters, and I unlocked it against my most hated enemies, the Patriots. I absolutely hate these things. So we eventually find the gunsmith, and he's pretty much dead. I mean, there's no pretty much about it, he's dead. But using Elizabeth's powers, we get to use TERS to travel to different dimensions. And in this different dimension, we get to find the guns that we need, and we get to arm the Revolute to start fighting Colombia. So in this different dimension, we as Booker are the face of the revolution, and we're here to fight the power and give it back to the people.
You Booker DeWitt, the hero of the Vox!
As we're helping the revolution fight back, we pop 2 trophies. One for killing 150 enemies with the machine gun, and one for also killing any opponents that are under our Vigor powers. So in this world, I'm supposed to be dead, and Daisy thinks I'm an imposter, so she has a beautiful message for her goons. So as we're fighting her goons, we actually pop 2 trophies. One called Aerial Assassin for killing 20 enemies off the skyline, so just riding the skylines and nutting them right in the head. And then we also pop tear them a new one, and I don't mean tear them in the ass, I mean just her open 30 tears with Elizabeth. So after Elizabeth pops her cherry and kills someone, we get the working class hero achievement, and she gets a beautiful new look. She goes from cute girl to dark girl. So as we're trying to escape, that flipping bird comes out of nowhere and crash lands us straight back into the city. As we're going through the next stage of the game, we finally managed to get all the infusions, which means we pop the Infused with Greatness trophy. Straight after that, we get the Roguish type, which is for picklocking 30 locks. So the hardest part of the game is coming up now. Even though I was playing this stage right now on normal, it was still pretty difficult. So you can only imagine when you play it on 1999 mode, how difficult this game actually is on this stage. That's why like the guides and stuff like that were like a 6 or 7 out of 10 just because of this boss fight. But there is a way to cheese it. But I'll talk about it a little bit more when it comes to that 99 mode. Anyway, as we're moving throughout the game, we actually find out that Elizabeth is Comstock's adopted daughter. He was bringing her up to take over Colombia when he dies. And you remember those 2 twins at the start and when they show up all over the game? Those twins had built in the machine, and that machine is basically used to control her power so she doesn't basically overthrow him right now. On top of that, as soon as they built in the machine, etc., he had his wife and the twins killed just to hide the secret that she is his adopted daughter. So during the first stage of the boss fight, we actually popped a trophy called the Real Pistol for pistol whipping 25 enemies. And then during the second stage of the boss fight, we popped the 25 enemy kills with the hand cannon, which is a one-shot, one-kill called Loose Cannon. As I was making my way to the last stage of the boss fight, I just grabbed some stuff from the vending machines to upgrade some of my weapons, and we got the trophy called Kitted Out for fully upgrading 1 weapon and 1 vigor. And yeah, I finally completed the last stage of the boss fight, and bloody hell, this was so difficult on normal. So I mean, I just knew when it came to 99 mode, I had to look up something just to basically help me, because if this was how hard it was on normal, I can only imagine how hard it's going to be in the next stage. But again, I'll talk about it a little bit more. But after completing that, we got this trophy called Blood on the Streets for completing this section. So you don't need to hear me scream again like a little baby. But Elizabeth basically gets kidnapped again by the Songbird. So we have to go back and rescue her before we go after Comstock. The next jump scare happened here to me. I knew it was going to happen as well. You look how slowly I turned. I just knew there was something behind me. Just watch. I knew it, bruv. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. So we actually get taken through time again by the older version of Elizabeth, who's actually pretty hot. And she shows us what the future is going to be for New York, how Columbia is going to attack it if Elizabeth is not rescued.
Shall sit the throne and drown in flame the mountains of man. Say what you will about Comstock. He was a hell of a fortune teller.
So then we find her getting experimented on and tortured by these doctors, which for some reason gave me that film Shutter Island vibes. But anyway, we rescue her and we pick up the trophy called Higher Learning. So after rescuing her, it was time to do the final stage of this entire game, and it's to find Comstock and kill him. But as we were going through this last stage, we popped the trophy Street Sweeper for killing 50 enemies with a shotgun. And right after that, we popped 2 more trophies. One called Big Game Hunter for killing 100 enemies with the Huntsman rifle, or it's called, I think it's called the Huntsman carbine, but I just call it the Huntsman's rifle. And then we popped the next collectible trophy called Sightseer for using all the telescopes and those like kinetic scopes throughout the game. So as we're heading to the last big Zeppelin of the game, the last stage of the game, we popped the trophy Bon Voyage for knocking 20 enemies off Columbia. I used the vigor, the octopus vigor, I think it's called Undertow, and you just push them off. I just pushed them off the Zeppelin. I just did it all in the stage. So once we arrived to the Zeppelin, we have to go through the different decks, basically to go to the last deck, which is Comstock's, like, I guess, hideout. And I popped the trophy coins in the cushion for looting 200 containers. It's a very natural trophy. You've got to loot so many containers, so you'll just get this eventually.
To a trap.
I need to do this.
Come here.
So we finally get to the last deck. We meet the infamous Mr. Comstock, and we drown him. We break his skull. But just before we do that, he tells us to tell Elizabeth about her past. It makes no sense right now, but near the end of the game, it will make a lot more sense.
Did you get what you wanted?
Booker.
Tell me!
Booker!
Tell me!
It is finished.
Nothing is finished!
Booker!
You locked her up for her whole life!
Booker!
You cut off her finger, and you put it on me!
Booker, stop it! You killed him.
So the last part of the game is to use the Songbird and yourself to destroy Columbia completely. You basically have to fight off all these different hordes of enemies coming in. And as we were fighting these hordes of enemies, I popped the trophy Industrial Accident for killing 20 enemies using the Skyhook Execution. And straight after that, we destroyed the whole of Columbia and we popped the trophy The Hand of the Prophet.
The Whistler! Elizabeth! The bird, Elizabeth! I lost control! He's coming!
No, he isn't.
So the next bit of the game was actually pretty cool. Like I said, I never got to experience Bioshock 1, so I never got to take the submarine down to Rapture City. So to be able to enjoy that experience a little bit in this game was pretty cool. And I assume if you played Bioshock 1 and 2, this would have been a cool nostalgic piece. So here comes the hard part to explain, but after 2 playthroughs, I think I finally get it. So Elizabeth explains that there are different dimensions, different versions of the worlds that we live in. And every world has a different choice, and the consequences of those choices affect that world. And I think we use these like lighthouses basically to symbolize the different doors. So the doors and these lighthouses are the different worlds. Basically, when we enter one door, we see one of the twins coming to us and asking us to give up our daughter. We are Booker in this world, so Cornstarch asked Booker to give up his daughter. However, we get cold feet and we want the kid back. Well, guess who the kid is?
Shut down the machine!
No!
Shut it
Anna!
down! Shut down the machine now! Do it!
Give me back my daughter! No!
Yeah, that's right. The girl that I thought was hot and cute turns out to be my daughter. Wonderful. It sounds like a porn film basically ready to be made. Yeah, I probably should edit that out actually. As we go through another door, we find this priest asking us if we want to be baptized and reborn again. Now, in some universes, we refuse the baptism and we just stay as Booker DeWitt. In other universes, we accept the baptism and then we turn into cornstarch. So do you understand now the craziness? It's pretty cool actually. So in this universe, the game that we're playing right now, we are Booker. However, in other universes, we're actually cornstarch. So the last scene here is all your daughters pop up from the different realities, and you allow them to drown you so that they can go live their life and you're basically dead, as cornstarch and as Booker. Now, if you go on Reddit, some time traveling experts will say this does nothing, some will say it does. It doesn't make a difference to me. I love the game. I love the ending. The first time it made absolutely no sense, just like me in a sack. But after the second, third time, it starts to make a little bit more sense, and you start piecing together. And like I said, after the second playthrough, when I played it on 1999 mode, it was great. So yeah, it was a fantastic game, fantastic ending, and we popped 3 different trophies. We unlocked the 99 mode, and we unlocked the 2 trophies for completing an easy and normal difficulty. So the second stage was a pretty fast one to do. It's basically to clear up all the miscellaneous trophies throughout the game. I missed one Vox recording. I was so angry during the entire playthrough. I can't believe I followed the guide, yeah, and I missed one. It took me about an hour to find the one that I missed. I don't know how I missed it. I have no idea, but I was so angry. It took me an hour to find it, but I found it. I got that one. The rest of the trophies are really, really simple to do. It's just basically ride the skylines, for example, and try and get headshots as I'm doing right now. Or maybe just get different gun kills that I just didn't use, for example. Some of them was like use the Vox Reaper or the shotgun, etc, etc. They weren't really that bad. You're going to get most of these, like I said, during your playthroughs, but some of them you're going to miss, and then you're going to have to do it throughout the game. And it's really, really easy to do. It wasn't that difficult whatsoever. I haven't shown every single trophy that I missed here, by the way, but it's just a couple things. Like, for example, right now I'm just trying to get kills using the environment. So it's very, very simple to do, very easy, and quite fun. I actually find a way to also glitch. One of the trophies was to kill one of these handymen. For just getting all what's it called? Heart shots without missing a shot, and apparently there was a glitch like you see right now. I made the ape jump to the top, and he just stood still while I just shot him in the heart. So it's a sort of a glitchy area. So yeah, second stage wasn't that difficult whatsoever, and I quite enjoyed it. So the last stage of this platinum hunt was to complete the game on 1999 mode, so the hardest difficulty in the game. And the only thing I had to avoid this entire playthrough was not to use the $1 vending machines. That is it. Apart from that, everything else, in my opinion, was pretty easy. I mean, there's a reason that this game is given a 6 and 7 out of 10. And that is for 2 reasons. One of them, the enemies are a little bit more spongy. And oh my god almighty, this handyman here, look at this. Oh my god. Come on. Mate, this guy's eating all this for breakfast. What the flip is going on? How many shots does one man take? Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's it. Keep going. I'm going to die here. I'm going to die. I'll get the hell out of here. Flip this. And the second reason, the reason that everyone thinks this game is very difficult, is for the Lady Cornstarch fight. The ghost of her mother, or I guess your wife. Now you know the ending. There are 3 stages. You know exactly where she's going to spawn in all 3 stages. All you got to do is use your Devil's Kiss. I actually looked this up. I know I cheesed it, but I did not want to go through the torture that everyone went through. I refuse. So all you do is use your Devil's Kiss, your firepower, to put it on the ground. You know exactly where she's going to spawn in all 3 locations. And then all you got to do is wait for the spawn and kill her. I did this for the first stage, as you can see. But guess what happened in the second stage? That's right, you guessed it. I'm a complete spastic. I knew I was going to screw up somehow. In the second stage, I completely forgot to cheese it. So I ran in there with no mana for any of my vigors. I ran in there with no ammo, basically, in any of my guns. So I had to run around trying to find ammo. I died so many times. It took me an hour after a broken control and all this crap. I finally did it. So if you did this legitly, and all of the people who did it legitly without guides at the start, fair play to you, because you're more of a man than me, because my god almighty, I was raging so hard. So I understand why this game is like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I finally understood. I understood why. So maybe it was a good thing I lived through it. But you best believe when I got to that third stage, yeah, I cheesed the crap out of it. I made sure to do it with ease, and yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. I didn't have to go through any of the rage that most people went through. And yeah, I popped the 3 trophies that I needed. I completed the game on hard mode, I completed the game on 99 mode, and I completed the game on 99 mode without using the flipping dollar bin machine. So just like I said at the start of the video, it's been 10 years since this game's come out, and it still holds up well to this date. The art, the gameplay, the story, the fighting, everything about it is unbelievable. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm so happy I did one of the Bioshock games. I'll eventually go back and do the first and second one and platinum those and make a video about them. But yeah, if you've never played any of the Bioshock games, you're thinking about doing it, go into Infinite. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed it. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll catch you guys in the next one.